Om Bharata Gauravaya Namaha. My prostrations to Gurudev, who is the glory of Bharat. Shuddhosi buddhosi niranjanosi samsara maya parivarjitosi samsara swapnam tyajamoha nidram madala solarka muvacha putram. Child in a cradle is crying. Mother Madalasa is rocking her son, singing these lines of lullaby. Mother Madalasa, who was she? Not an ordinary woman. She was a queen and a yogini. Madalasa is known as one of India's most ideal and learned women. What was she singing? O my infant, do not cry. You are pure, enlightened, spotless. You are free from delusion caused by Maya. Leave the illusion of the world and wake up from this deep slumber of delusion. It is said this wonder mother would sing this astonishing lullaby and bring up children in an extraordinary manner. She chose to give the highest knowledge, the best to her sons. Each one became great in their own way. She could design the personality of her sons. What was the central theme which laid the foundation in the upbringing of the children by this mother? Pure knowledge, which is born out of austerity and sacrifice. Our country's flag has saffron on the top to say, all begins with austerity, sacrifice, which leads to peace, symbolized by white, which thus brings prosperity in true sense, that is green. So the message is, we are Amritasya Putraha, declaration of the Vedas. We are born out of sanctity and not out of sensuality. This is Bharat. When we listen to stories of our Itihasa, like Ramayana and Mahabharata, which has happened and the characters were real, we often do not want to believe them. How do we know they even existed or not? The irony is that we idolize fiction. Those which are real, we doubt and ignore them, and that which are fictitious, we want them to come alive. What is Bharat? What is Indianness? Pujya Swami Swarupanandaji calls it technology. Don't we take a magnifying glass, focus the sunlight and burn a piece of paper? Is it not technology? The glass in the telescope can show us farthest and the largest of objects, and in the microscope, the smallest of the small. In the same way, when we train our mind through austerity, it can help us become perfect in the smallest of actions and grow to the greatest of heights. In Bharat, tradition and technology ran hand in hand. And this technology transfer, that is the art of thinking and mind management, happens from generation to generation. We are actually very different beings. We must understand this. We Indians operate from a very different plane or realm of experience. Others know only one plane, that is the plane of sense organs, of seeing, touching, smelling, hearing, tasting, etc. But we know beyond that. We can see that which is not seen by others. Which is why we do not need to give evidence for the existence of God. Now, how is that? Only in India, humans and human relations are personified as God. Matru Devo Bhava, Pitru Devo Bhava, Acharya Devo Bhava, Atiti Devo Bhava. Mother, you are God. Father, you are God. Teacher, you are God. Oh, guest, you are God. And God is personified as humans and human relations. Tumi ho mata, pita tumi ho bandhu, sakha tumi ho. Oh God, you are our mother. Oh God, you are our father. You are our relative. You are my friend. It is like God said, I gave you the ability. You rise your level of experience and I will come down to match your level. So we, Bharatiyas, rose our standard to a certain plane of existence. God came down to this level to match us and we are in sync. A different plane of experience altogether, which others do not comprehend. Here, God comes as an ordinary human to show us how to live an ideal life. That is Sri Rama. Or he can come as a cowherd boy to play and romance with us. This is Bharat. On the other hand, an ordinary girl can become Mother Durga to vanquish the negative, brutal, cruel forces entering our country. 11th century Ram Pyari Gurjar, 18-20 years old ordinary girl, with her battalion of 40,000 women whom she trained herself with her men counterparts, confronts the tyrant Mongolian king Taimur. Taimur has come with 1.5 lakh warriors. It is said Taimur destroyed Delhi and it took 1 century for it to recover. Such was the force, and was advancing towards Meerut. At Meerut, army led by Ram Pyari and others wreak havoc on Taimur and his men. It is said Taimur had to return back. These Gurjars in later centuries were brutal against British. Britishers declared the Gurjars as criminal tribes and wiped off all the records of their victory and valor. This is just one story out of thousands of stories. Such were our warriors. How could they be like that? This is the impact of traditional technology transfer. When we go to Delhi at Chandni Chowk, exactly at its center is the place where Guru Tegh Bahadur Singh Ji, the 9th Guru of Sikhs, and his 3 disciples were martyred by Aurangzeb in 17th century for their refusal to barter their faith. The degree of brutality was too high. One cannot hear the description. Guru Tegh Bahadur Singh Ji was beheaded, and this was the simplest death out of the 4. Today, we find that place as a humble monument surrounded by traffic, noise and dust. Very interestingly, to see 2 people looking very ordinary, but when interacted with, found they were very well educated, employed at a very respectable position with high remuneration. They left their job to serve their gurus, spread the message of faith and commitment by keeping the place upright and narrating the story of their guru's sacrifice to people who visit. If Tegh Bahadur Singh Ji and his disciples sacrifice their lives, these people are serving their sacrifice. Service unto sacrifice is Bharat. Only in India, be it soldier, a sannyasi or a common man, knew the art of dying. My maternal and paternal great-grandfathers predicted their death. My maternal great-grandfather, who was ailing, one day said, "My Ram is coming to take me. Keep the door open and decorate with rangoli." As predicted, it is said he raised his hands in air saying, "See, my Ram has come," and within minutes passed away. My paternal great-grandfather was a station master in Hillgrove railway station near Ooty. He calls up his higher official, who were Britishers, and says, "Sir, can you please send a reliever this Saturday?" British officer is like, "Why? Are you going on leave?" "Sir, I am going to leave the world. I am going to die." The officer laughs and ignores. True to his prediction, he passes away, but the reliever is not sent. Railway station was managed courageously for few hours by my great-grandmother, who had no exposure at all. I am sure such incidents would have taken place in every home of Bharat. Again, a true incident. A father was so very attached to his eldest son. The son passes away in an accident. The body of the son is taken to the mortuary. Father goes to claim his son's body. The in charge of the mortuary demands a heavy bribe, which the father refuses to give. Traditional technology transfer happens. Father wipes off his tears, says, "This is only my son's body, not son. Son has moved on. You can keep the body with you," and walks away. Trembling with fear of losing his job, the in charge hands over the body to the father. Who won? Corruption or dispassion? Extreme emotional attachment and instant dispassion, all rolled into one. This is Bharat. We all know how Bhagat Singh and his associates, Vanjinathan and his companions, or our present-day soldiers were and are in perfect sync with the teachings of Bhagavad Gita. Looking into the eyes of the enemies, they could say, "You can only put an end to my body, not me, because Nainam chindanti shastrani, nainam dahati pavakaha, na chainam kledayantyapah, na shoshayati marutaha." No weapons can destroy me, fire cannot burn me, water cannot wet me, wind cannot dry me, as I am not the body at all. Did they all not die in style? Did they not meet a royal death? Daring the death is Bharat. Subramanya Bharati, combination of a poet, freedom fighter, devotee of the Lord, all rolled in one, even when in utter poverty, was scattering some rice to the sparrows. He says, if we eat, we can barely fill one stomach. Look, so many stomachs are filled. Only in India, we find even people who live in sheer scarcity will share what they have graciously and find so much satisfaction. Prosperity in poverty is Bharat. Pujya Guruji Swami Tejomayanand Ji says, all countries are referred to by their citizens as motherland. But there is no expression like Mother America, Mother Australia, Mother Spain, Mother Britain, etc. Only we consider our country as Bharat Mata. Now let us go back from where we began. Shuddhosi Buddhosi Niranjanosi is not only the instruction of Mother Madalasa to her children. It is the instruction to each one of us from our Bharat Mata. We are no ordinary humans. We are lions and lionesses. We are world leaders to guide the world. It is embedded in our DNA. Bravery, fearlessness, compassion, discrimination between right and wrong is our life force. Bharat Mata has been very compassionate. She has been sending and launching her children freely with this knowledge from time immemorial to different parts of the world. She says, go to the east, serve them. Go to the west, serve them. Evidences as old as 6000 BCE and beyond are pouring in from different fields across the globe. Archaeological, genetical, astronomical evidences to prove that India has the world's most ancient civilization. You name a subject, Bharat has taught the world. Scholars and researchers are collaborating their findings and are all coming to the same conclusion and agreement that it all began in India. India indeed is the cradle of civilization. Civilization is for humans, right? Undoubtedly, every human needs to follow this civilization for their existence. The next time if someone asks us, where are you from? We shall answer majestically, I belong to the land which is the cradle of civilization. I belong to Mother Bharat. Vande Mataram. Jai Hind.